Oh boy, well, a lot happens while you're sleeping. Yes, I'd been at work most of the night, and when I came in, I had a little article from Cinema Spot about Jeffrey Dean Morgan possibly being in talks for returning as Thomas Wayne and being the Thomas Wayne version of Batman for the Flashpoint film. And I thought, yeah, that'd be cool, that'd be great, I'd like to see that. I did a little video and went to bed. I wake up, Michael Keaton in talks to be Batman in the Flash movie. So, and a lot more outlets talking about this. So, seems like this is actually pretty serious. And I think it flows into the idea that they've decided to embrace the multiverse aspect of the DC universe. And they've been doing this for quite some time. The first really official nod to it was the Crisis on Infinite Earths shared event that the CW did with those shows, and capped off with Ezra Miller's Flash making a cameo in that and meeting the Grant Gustin Flash and all that, which solidifies the whole idea. Not every DC film or TV show was represented there. There's a few that didn't, but for the most part, you can say that they've acknowledged that this is a multiverse, and all of those stories count. So, there you go. What could this mean for this? Now, a lot of the a warning that the director for the upcoming Flash film said that yes, he's going to adapt the story ideas of Flashpoint, but it won't be exactly like that, or won't be what you expect, or what have you. I mean, the obvious thing would have been, of course, the Thomas Wayne Batman appear in it, and this could have been a means by which they introduced their new Batman at the end. The famous thing is like, oh, have a cameo of Ben Affleck's Batman in there at the beginning. You go through the Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Thomas Wayne Batman. The Flash is able to reverse what he did and restore the timeline, but not perfectly. And when he gets back, there's this Batman, but it's not Ben Affleck. It's a new actor playing Batman. My main candidate for that role would have been Armie Hammer, but nevertheless, that's how that could have been done, and it would have been really cool and actually a way to smooth this out. Now things are kind of up in the air a lot with HBO Max and the Snyder Cut possibly being a series, and then rumors about Ben Affleck coming back to complete his story, and that might be a series as well. Of course, with Multiverse, you can do it all, and it all counts and whatnot. So what's with Michael Keaton? What would he be playing the older version of Ben Affleck's dad? And so, because Ben Affleck's Batman is supposed to be an older version, and he's certainly Ben Affleck was in his 40s when he was doing this role, but that was the idea, that Batman had a 20-year career at that point when you see him in Batman versus Superman. So Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne in that would be much older than even that Batman by the time he meets the Flash. When Ben Affleck meets the Flash, he's this young man here, and so he would be the one to do the time warp business of the Flashpoint, and then he goes back and meets. So I suppose they could do it like that. That Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I mean, what are the years between him and Michael Keaton? I mean, I know he's younger than Keaton, but still. It's believable that he'll turn into Michael Keaton when he gets older. So I don't know. I think this is more of the aspect of that multiverse rather than just a time warp in and of itself, and that the Flash will find himself in a different world, and it will be a world connected to the Michael Keaton films. And what would they establish there? Would they establish that Christopher Reeve's Superman was a part of that world? I don't know. So all the other aspects of the Flashpoint might not appear, and yet some will. It's been confirmed that Cyborg will be a part of that. Now, Cyborg was a pivotal part in the story, in the comic book story, as he had become the premier superhero of that. There was no Superman. Of course, Superman had been locked away and all that type of stuff. And so they shift that around, so a lot of the details wouldn't be there. Probably won't get the war between Aquaman and Wonder Woman unless they just do some like news footage in the background or something like that. Or it could be that the Flash, in his attempts to fix what he's done wrong and all of that, opens up different alternate realities that he goes to. Michael Keaton might only be a small part of it. Apparently some of it is that he might appear in other films as the Batman. Some are saying that he will be the new DCEU Batman. Just, I don't know. But this might be more of an expansion on the ideas of it. And it could possibly be you do get Jeffrey Dean Morgan's Batman in there. But again, Muschietti, I forget how to pronounce the man's name, has said it will not be what you expect, and this is something I certainly didn't expect. There had been talks about Michael Keaton reprising the role a lot, and one of the better ideas was about him doing a Batman Beyond movie, and that would really be pretty good. And Michael Keaton has just proven himself to be a fantastic actor. I mean, I was not a fan of the Spider-Man films in the MCU, but I really liked his Vulture a lot. And even in films like RoboCop, the reboot, it wasn't that great. It was just mostly because it was unnecessary. He was good in that too. He's just really good, and he's a good go-to, solid guy to go to, and can certainly add to a film. I don't think he could ever really take away from it. But boy, I tell you, a Batman Beyond film with him in that would have been. Maybe it should have been him. Well, I guess Robert Pattinson's a little too old now to be the teenage Batman Beyond. But still, something along those lines, that might have been a cool thing. Speaking of Robert Pattinson, where does his Batman go? Well, as expected, I think, his Batman is yet another alternate reality. Perhaps there would even be a cameo of sorts in the Flash film that acknowledges there's this other Batman. Whether Robert Pattinson's Batman lives in a world where there's a Justice League and all that stuff, and Wonder Woman and Superman are in it, I don't know. But for the most part, I don't think much would spin out of it. Of course, things could change. But I think basically his trilogy will be its own set of films. And you can have more. So now, let's see. We might get Ben Affleck's Batman, which I hope so, for HBO Max. We have Michael Keaton's Batman, maybe Jeffrey Dean Morgan's Batman, and 4 Batman, perhaps. Well, we know we got 2 at least. Do we? I mean, I think this gives more credence that there will be a Batman of sorts in the Flash film, at least that part of it. And so there you go. How much of Flashpoint will survive to the finished product? Don't really know. It will be drastically different, but the basic idea, the plot, stays the same. That the Flash is trying to change time and restore. Now the business about his time travel. When did he discover he could do that? Oh, that's right. In the original Snyder Cut version of Justice League. So I'm assuming it will branch off from that, how they get that together. But exciting times for the DCEU, far more than their competitors at this point, since they pretty much ended their big run. And DC has a big shot here to take charge and leave them in the dust for the most part. But boy, I tell you, especially even with the comic, although now maybe almost by default, DC Comics just seems a lot better, even though it's the whole industry is in the shambles. But they've had many opportunities to beat Marvel, and they just don't know how to take the advantage of it. They always snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. But hopefully the films will be different, and the comics too. I don't know where that goes. It doesn't look good for the industry overall, at least in the form it was, and I think that's pretty much over anyway. But as an entity, who knows? But anyway, that's another story. So Michael Keaton could be Batman again in The Flash. trash. All right. Thank you for watching and listening. Say, why not like and subscribe and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores and have plenty of goodies for you. You know, hats, mugs, stickers, posters, all that goody stuff. Plus, you can head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book Night Night. Oh, yeah. Plus, you can also catch my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, over at RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on my channel at BitChute. That's the Mr Nailsin channel on BitChute.com.